Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Dom Dumas, and I'm in Bangkok. A Journey Through Photography, Episode 28. Now, I need to apologize again because it's been a while since my last podcast episode, but there's a reason for it. Well, there's always been a reason for it, but the reason for it this time is because I've been learning some new software to help with my recording of the audio and the recording of the video. I've been kind of moving away from, or wanting to move away from using GarageBand. Not that there's anything wrong with GarageBand, it's just I wanted to have some software that gives me a little bit more control of my sound output, my sound input, and also with my video, I'll talk a little bit about that in this episode. But anyway, on with the podcast. Now, first, I need to tell you about Tracy and I bought a camera. Well, Tracy bought a camera and I went with her and we kind of decided together, but it was mostly for her. Back in 2005, she bought a point and shoot that you could change remove the lens if you want. And at the time, I think they had some lenses that you could put on there, but we didn't get any lenses. We just bought the camera with the one lens that came with it. It was just, like I said, it was just a little point and shoot. And that was a Canon PowerShot A620. And I'll put a picture of it up over here so you'll be able to see it. As a matter of fact, anytime I talk about one of the cameras or any of the or the hardware that I'm using, cameras or video cameras, because I'll talk a little bit about video cameras also, I'll put a picture up over here. But anyway, this was a Canon PowerShot A620, and this was a really great camera. I mean, and you could do so many things. You could do color picking, you could do black and white, you could do a few different types of pictures, and I'm not going to go and explain the type of pictures that you could take with it, but and as with all point and clicks or point and shoots, depending on what you call them, they are what you call a mirrorless camera. They have sensors, but there's no mirrors in it, and not that there's anything wrong with them. I still love them. We still have the PowerShot A620. But anyway, in about 2007, I'm going to take a guess here, Tracy and I, was it 2007? Yeah, we did a motorcycle trip around northern Thailand, and I did talk a little bit about that in a previous episode, and I believe that was in about motorcycle riding, and that would be if I'm not mistaken, at domdumas.com/13. But if I'm wrong, don't worry, I'll put it in my show notes and I'll link it so you can go ahead and get it. And if you're watching the video, I'll put a little thing that says I'm stupid and I should have put this episode instead. But anyway, so we did a trip to northern Thailand on my motorcycle at the time. And we were staying in Chiang Saen, right on the river. And we decided to do a little boat trip across the river and come back. You could go into, I believe they said we were going into a little portion of Laos, and we could buy some stuff that for really cheap and stuff like that and come back. Well, as we were going across the river and we're coming back, Tracy gave me the camera and she said, "We'll take some pictures." Okay, so I was like, yeah, all right, I'm taking pictures at all kinds of wild and crazy angles and because I don't know. I mean, not that I haven't used cameras before, but I've always just kind of gone, okay, 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 and I decided, well, let's try and be a little bit artistic, I don't know why. I think I know why, because Tracy is an artist, and maybe I'll impress her with some really cool angles on the camera, So I was putting it on really weird angles, and we went to go upload the pictures, or we went to go look at the pictures later on that night. None of them were really very great, and I was kind of cutting off the heads of things or part of things and different things like that. And Tracy said, "Hey, those kind of pictures are okay for fun. But why not try and get your angles lined up, get your lines straight, make sure you've got everything inside your picture so you're not accidentally cutting off part of a head or something like that." And I was like, okay. So I started taking some more pictures and using this camera, and I was really kind of focusing on lines and focusing on angles, and Tracy says that some of my pictures turned out really, really good. And if I can find them, I can't guarantee I'm finding. I got to find them. But I think we might have lost them. But if I can find them, I'll absolutely post them with this in the show notes. And you can find these show notes at domdumas.com/28. But anyway, you can. I started looking at pictures a little bit differently. I started looking at angles a little bit differently, framing my pictures a little bit more, and kind of looking at things in a little bit of a different light than what I had done before. And we had this camera we still have this camera, but we used this camera together for quite a long time. And then from there, from there in about 2013, Eric came to visit. Now, before this, Tracy had bought a Pentax camera, Pentax KM. And at that point in time, I really, just give me a point and click and I'll just take a few pictures. Nothing's going to be all that spectacular. Do you know what I mean? But you know what? It's fun. So I really had no interest in learning a DSLR camera. And for those of you who don't know what DSLR stands for, it's a digital single lens reflex camera, which is the predecessor or the continuing the upgraded version of SLRs, or single lens reflex cameras. But Tracy bought a Pentax KM. And like I said, I didn't want to know anything about them. They kind of seemed a bit complicated, not something that I was interested in at that time. So I continued taking pictures with the Canon PowerShot. And then Eric came to visit us. Our friend Eric, I haven't really talked about him, but he's a great guy, funny guy, hilarious. We know him from our old website that I still sometimes post blogs on at thenorthlands.net. And if you want to go check that out, he's got a few photographs on there, but he also has his own photography site. But I'll post a link to thenorthlands.net in my show notes for this particular episode. But anyway, Eric is a bit of a photographer, a photography buff. I don't know if he's sold any images or anything like that. I don't know if if he considers himself a photographer. That's kind of like a writer. Some people consider you a writer only if you've been published, or if you've sold some work, and if you haven't, you're not really a writer. I don't know what you want to call it. But anyway, he's kind of a photography buff, and he's really good. And we went to MBK, one of the local shopping centers here. MBK, which stands for Mambung Krong, which is kind of a big but a cheaper, to a certain extent, cheaper mall where you can get different things. And a few of the shops that you go to, you can also negotiate prices a little bit, which is always fun and interesting. But anyway, so Eric is looking around the shop. He was looking for a really nice tripod because he wanted to take some pictures with a sturdy tripod. And to be honest, I don't remember what he wanted to take pictures of with his tripod, but anyway, he was going to take some pictures and he went and bought this tripod. But while he was choosing a tripod, I was looking around at the different cameras, and I saw this really cool looking camera. It was a hard body. It was still a point and shoot camera, but it was a little bit of an upgraded version. You had a few more options. You couldn't change the lens, but this was the Nikon Coolpix L820. And one of the things I liked about it when we were looking at it was the body kind of had a purpley red to it, but they only had the one display model in the shop, so they said, well, we can't sell this one. And I was like, okay, well, where can I get it? And they said, oh, well, there's another one at Central World. This is a massive shopping center. Just go to our big camera shop there in Central World, and they'll have one. Okay, to get this taken care of, because I'm kind of looking at this picture and the things that this camera, and looking at the things that I can do with it, and I was like, I really kind of want this camera, But sorry, before I get too far, if I go back to the Canon PowerShot A620, it has a viewfinder in it. You know, the kind that you got to look through with your eye. And with the Nikon Coolpix L820, it doesn't have a viewfinder, but it has what's called a live screen LCD on the back of the camera, so you can look at that picture to try and line up and look at your different angles and things that way. Now, that really takes a lot more battery life. Those LCD screens can really chew up batteries, but you know, again, that's not something that I was really concerned about, because I mean, it takes AA batteries, so I can just pop them in and out. Ain't no big deal. And batteries are fairly inexpensive. So anyway, so I went and I tried to get this Nikon Coolpix L820, you know, at Central World, and they didn't have it. They had the other color. They had a red one, but they didn't have like this. It was actually it's considered brown. It's classified as brown, but it didn't look brown. It looked kind of had a purpley tint to it. But anyway, so I said, okay, well, I'll go with the red one. And the red one looked really nice, and you'll see a picture of it up here at about when I'm talking about this here. So, and we went on some photo shoots. Not photo shoots. That makes it sound like I'm going out specifically just to take pictures. We went to this we went on a tour with Eric when he was here, and I took a few pictures of that. And then we did a trip where we went to Utia to see some of the ruins, and I took some pictures of that while we were there. Not that like that. There's one particular set of ruins in Utia. Actually, there's not. There's a lot of ruins all over the city of Utia. Anyway, so we're in Utia. We're at the main temple ruin site, and I'm taking pictures with my brand new Nikon Coolpix L820, and it's really great. I mean, I've got the live screen, so I'm kind of angling things up, and you know, and getting everything, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying taking pictures, and it's a lot of fun. And then so we did that, and then every time we'd go out, we're coming back on a boat trip, you know, and I'm taking some pictures and trying to line things up. I'm not trying to do any more funky angles anymore, but I'm actually trying to get my line straight. I'm trying to get my image that I want taken. I'm trying to get that framed as well. And things like that. And so I'm through this whole time, I'm learning a lot about taking pictures now. And a lot of this had to do with some of the things Tracy had told me, and some of the things that Eric had told me, and things that kind of seem, if I see something and I have my camera on me, take a picture of it. You know, try to frame what you see in your picture. So, of course, I tried doing that, and I kind of went in and out of taking pictures, you know, and sometimes I'd take my camera with me to some place for whatever reason. Say we were going to the Grand Palace and I wanted to take some pictures of the Grand Palace, or if we were in England and we were going to, say, Oxford, I wanted to take some pictures of Oxford, I could do that, or whatever. So, you know, so that's what I was doing. But I always tried, when I go to take pictures, I always tried to get into trying to line up the angles and keep the lines straight and try and frame my picture with what I want to see. And then when we did some trips to Krabi, or some trips, we did one trip to Krabi since I've had that camera, and I took some pretty good pictures. And again, I'll post all of these pictures, not all of them. I'll post some of these pictures in my show notes at domdumas.com/28. But yeah, so then this is an upgrade for me. It's a quite a big upgrade from the Canon PowerShot to the Coolpix, Nikon Coolpix, you know, and then, you know, and I've tried recording video with it. You can actually record video with it, but one of the problems is you can only record 30 minutes of video. And this is kind of one of the things a lot of the camera companies want to keep doing, because it puts them into a different class, and it could change the way things are taxed and things like that. They kind of want to stay out of the camcorder or video camera era, because, well, they don't want their own cameras competing with each other also. You know, like Canon has a video camera and Canon has the regular cameras, and so Nikon doesn't really have a video camera. Nikon doesn't have a video camera. But anyway, they try to keep everything within 30 minutes or within 4 gigabytes of information or data. They don't want you to record over 4 gigabytes in under 30 minutes. So they try and keep everything within those specs. So I tried to record one of my belt tests, not knowing that there was a 30-minute time limit on my camera. So I set my camera up and hit record, and we're warming up and stuff. And I looked up and, we've been warming up, and I'm kind of helping other people and getting myself warmed up and kind of being a cheerleader, I guess you could say, or kind of coaching people to help them do better on the tests. And, and I look at my camera and it's like, it's not blinking anymore. It's not recording anything. What's going on? So I go and look at it. Here, it turned off after 30 minutes. I was like, what? So I ended up doing some research and found out that Nikons and most cameras, not video cameras, but most picture cameras only record up to about 30 minutes. So a friend of mine that I had worked with at that point in time, his name was Ronnie. He just got himself a GoPro Hero 3, and he's like, "Yeah, if this is what you want to do, if you want to record video, and you want a small camera, this is like the way to go. It's like an action camera." And we had some other friends like Lauren, a friend of mine, or a friend of Tracy and I's, and Max. They also recommended the GoPro, so we kind of were like, okay, well. About this point in time, we were like, yeah, maybe we'll look at a GoPro. Yeah, sure. Come to find out, the GoPro 3 was just not on its last legs, but they were just getting ready to release the GoPro 4, Hero 4. So we decided, all right, we'll wait for the Hero 4 to come out, and then we'll think about going to buy one. So, and then we ended up buying one. We were on our last trip to England. And we saw one. They had a fairly decent deal. We didn't get the top of the range Hero 4, the GoPro Hero 4, but we decided, the middle one, that's all that we figured we would need, and that's all we do need. So we got a good deal. We got they gave us an SD. Well, found out you have to buy an SD card. They didn't give you an SD card. You had to buy one. So that was added into the price. We got an SD card, and this was in the airport, so this was duty free. So we ended up getting a decent deal with this particular camera. Nice camera, great video, and I'll post little clips of the videos in the show notes here. Most of the video is going to be from my belt test for karate, because that's mainly what I've used it for. But and it's a lot of fun. We've taken it when we've gone sightseeing, and I've used it to take pictures. And it's a little tiny small camera, and you'll see it in the picture when I post it when I put it in the video here. And if you're listening, I'll post pictures of all my cameras also, so don't worry about that. You can think, oh, well, I only post pictures in his show notes so I can see what he's talking about. I'll post pictures in my show notes at domdumas.com/28. Anyway, the GoPro is a small camera, and one of my problems with that is when I'm trying to take pictures, I can hold it, and most times I do quite well, but it's got a fisheye lens, and now I can turn off the fisheye, but with the fisheye lens, one of the problems is I've got big hands, big fingers, and they tend to kind of creep into the frame of the picture, and I don't always catch it until when I'm looking at the pictures later, and it's like, what is that thing down on the bottom of the screen? Oh, that's my finger. So yeah, but it's a great camera, and when I use it for my belt test, I can put it on I can put it on a tripod, and I put it in what's called the frame, which is an open case, so it picks up all the surrounding noise, and I can record. And I just hit record, and it will record like over 2 hours. It will record up for the full battery life. Now it splits it at 4 gigabyte sections. But I can always paste it all together. And the nice thing is, if I just paste it all together and I don't cut anything, it's a real smooth stream. And then we had my sister came to visit, and I took some pictures with my Nikon, and I took some pictures with the GoPro, and I started kind of getting this little bit of a bug, like we're looking at cameras, and and I'm like, maybe I might want to try learning a DSLR, So I've looked at a few different DSLRs, and Tracy said, well, before you go and buy one, to see if this is something you really want to learn, take my Pentax. I don't use it. I use my Olympus. She's got an Olympus Tough, I think it's called. Use my Pentax and learn how to use a DSLR and learn how to take pictures using a DSLR. Now the settings are going to be different, but they're generally pretty much the same. But learn how to do it and learn how to manipulate the photos, take them in RAW or take them in JPEG and things like that. So I was like, okay, yeah, sure. So I've been learning on her Pentax on how to take pictures, and I feel it's kind of turned out really well. I've done some pretty good pictures. I did a really nice black and white picture, and I've taken some great pictures of Tracy. I've taken some pictures of some other things, and like I said, everything. I mean, not every picture I take is spectacular. I'm not going to say that, but the pictures I'm taking, they're okay. They're not bad, and it's kind of really. I really want to learn more about taking pictures, and I want to learn how to take pictures and do better pictures, and I want to learn how to edit these pictures either in Lightroom. Well, I want to learn Lightroom, and I want to learn how to use Photoshop better and things like that. So this is really, really exciting for me. And another thing that I've been wanting to do, because I want to make sure my podcast is better, I'm learning, like I said, I'm learning software for better recording. And I was using for the video portion of my podcast. So if anybody is watching who watches my videos, you'll notice the videos are quite cropped at times. In my earlier videos, I was kind of squished. And again, I'm learning how to use different things and learning new things, trying to make things better for you, my listeners. And I love learning new stuff. So I love learning new software. I love learning new devices. I love learning new things, be it martial arts or something with a camera or yoga or something like that. Anyway, so I had this Panasonic camera, and this Panasonic, we bought it when we were in Chiang Mai, and we got a good deal on it. I don't even remember what the cost of it was off the top of my head, but one of the nice things about this camera is it has an internal memory. And now it's a little small handheld camera. And again, like I said, I'll show you a picture of it right over here. It's a small handheld camera, and it has a really big internal memory. I don't need an SD card, but there is room for an SD card if I want. So it's kind of like, I felt that that's kind of cool, But at the time, we didn't know that. And I wanted to get some better cameras I wanted to get a better camera for when I'm recording video for my podcast. And when I have guests, I want to be able to have two good cameras. Nothing wrong with my GoPro, but in my little studio area here, the lighting isn't always the greatest. And with my GoPro, I kind of have a bit of a noise in the image, which kind of makes it a bit staticky, I guess you could call it, or grainy. So I've been wanting to make that picture a little bit better. Now, I haven't bought a new video camera, but what I'm using, I've decided to test this just to see how it works. I'm using the camera on my my MacBook. So my MacBook Pro, and if you think the video is shit, please tell me. If you think the video is good, tell me, or don't tell me, whatever. But the nice things about using this particular camera on my computer is it gives me a wider view range, whereas when I was using the Panasonic, nothing wrong with it. It's great for filming small things. The range of the video is a little bit smaller, so not the range, but the scene size is a little bit smaller, so it's a bit more cropped in. But with learning the new software, though, that I'm learning Adobe After Effects, and I'm also learning Adobe Premiere. So although right now it looks like I've got all this extra space around me, I might be able to trim it down in Adobe Premiere, and then when I want to show a little picture, like I'm going to show you over here, like of the cameras and stuff, maybe I'll open that side out a little bit or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, I'm learning new software. I'm learning how to take pictures. I'm really enjoying learning how to take better pictures, and different ways to take pictures and stuff like that. And it's fun. I enjoy doing it, and I want to learn how to do all this stuff, and I want to get better at it. But anyway, I hope I haven't bored you with learning about my journey through photography. All right, so that's all for today. What I want you to do is I want you to always remember that it's always fun to learn something new. Never stop learning. Okay? All right. Thanks a lot. See you next time. Bye-bye. Please rate my show or leave a comment or make suggestions of what you would like me to talk about. You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Dom Dumas, on Twitter at Dom Dumas, and on Instagram, Dom_Dumas. Thanks a lot.